All right, let's dive in. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a deep dive into the world of sleep. With Matthew Walker's book,
Yes.
Why We Sleep, we're going to uncover why sleep is important, but also all those processes that happen when you're actually asleep. And believe me, it's a lot.
Yeah, it really is a fascinating area. And Walker's book really dives deep into the science behind sleep, revealing how it really impacts our physical and mental well-being.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about everything from,
Right.
REM and NREM sleep cycles
Right.
to the shocking consequences of sleep deprivation, and even some tips for improving your sleep.
Right.
Did you know that just one night of bad sleep can weaken your immune system?
Yeah, it's true.
It's crazy.
Sleep plays such a crucial role in our immune response, and when we don't get enough sleep, our bodies produce fewer cytokines, which are
Okay.
those proteins that help us fight off infections.
So we're basically leaving ourselves open
Yeah,
to everything out there.
exactly.
No, thank you. So let's break this down a bit. You mentioned REM and NREM sleep. Can you explain the difference and why it matters?
Absolutely. These are the two main types of sleep we experience, and they cycle throughout the night.
Okay.
Non-REM sleep, or NREM, is characterized by slow brain waves and reduced muscle activity. It's further divided into three stages,
Okay.
with deep sleep, the most restorative sleep we all crave, happening in stage 3.
Got it. So stage 3, this is where like all the magic happens. Tell me more about this deep sleep. What's going on in our brains?
You can think of deep sleep as like the symphony conductor
Mhm.
that is orchestrating the consolidation of all your memories. So it's not just about filing information away, it's about strengthening the connections between neurons,
Okay.
transferring memories from short-term to long-term storage, and even integrating new learning with existing knowledge.
Wow. Our brains are active,
Yeah,
even when we're unconscious.
they are
Okay, so what about REM sleep then? This is where the dreams come in, right?
precisely. REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, is a completely different ballgame. So brain activity actually ramps up, almost resembling wakefulness. But your muscles become essentially paralyzed. And this is when those vivid dreams, often filled with strange imagery and emotions,
Yeah.
unfold.
Oh, yeah. I've always been fascinated by dreams. What's the purpose of all that,
Yeah.
bizarre imagery our brains are cooking up while we sleep?
That is a question that has puzzled scientists for centuries. But one compelling theory is that REM sleep helps us process emotions
Oh, yeah.
and regulate our mood. It's like our brains are working through the day's emotional baggage, taking the edge off negative experiences, and even helping us develop coping mechanisms for future challenges.
So it's almost like REM sleep is overnight therapy.
Yeah, I like that. Overnight therapy for the brain.
I like that analogy a lot. But how does our body know when to switch between these different stages? Is there like an internal timer?
There is. It's called the circadian rhythm, which is this internal biological clock that regulates our sleep-wake cycle, hormone release, and even body temperature.
Okay, the circadian rhythm. I feel like this is something that, I hear about all the time now. Like it's our body's conductor. Yeah.
Keeping everything in sync.
Exactly.
Explain a little more about how it works.
So one of the key players in this is a hormone called melatonin.
Okay.
As darkness falls, our brains start producing melatonin, signaling to our bodies that it's time to wind down. This is why getting natural light during the day is crucial.
Okay.
It helps to set that circadian rhythm and ensure that the melatonin kicks in at the appropriate time.
So it's like telling our body, hey, time to start preparing for sleep. But I've also heard about another chemical called adenosine
Yes.
that plays a role.
You're right. Adenosine is a neurotransmitter
Yeah.
that builds up in our brains throughout the day, and it essentially acts as a sleep pressure gauge.
Oh, interesting.
The longer we are awake, the more adenosine accumulates,
Yeah.
making us feel increasingly tired.
Okay, so adenosine is like this little sleepiness counter in our brain.
Yes,
So what about caffeine then? Does that affect adenosine?
it does. So caffeine blocks adenosine receptors,
Mm-hmm.
which temporarily mask those feelings of fatigue.
Yeah.
It's like hitting the snooze button
Yeah.
on our sleepiness. So caffeine isn't actually giving us more energy. It's just tricking our brains.
Exactly. It's tricking our brains into thinking we're not tired.
Wow, that's fascinating.
But here's the catch. The adenosine keeps building up,
Hmm.
and eventually that sleep pressure just becomes too great to ignore, leading to that dreaded caffeine crash.
So relying on caffeine to power through the night
Yeah.
is just delaying the inevitable.
Exactly. We have to pay that sleep debt eventually.
We do. We have to pay it. And the consequences of not doing that can be severe.
Yeah, and Walker goes into some pretty alarming findings about sleep deprivation.
Yeah, I was shocked by some of those statistics. It's not just about feeling tired, it's linked to some really serious health problems.
Absolutely. And what's alarming is that even one night
Yeah.
of insufficient sleep can have a detrimental effect.
Wow.
Your immune system weakens, making you more susceptible to illness. Your cognitive function takes a hit, impairing memory, attention, decision-making abilities. You become more emotionally reactive, prone to stress, anxiety.
It's like our bodies and minds are screaming for rest, and we're just not listening.
Yeah, it really is.
It's kind of scary when you think about the long-term consequences.
It is. It's like running your car on fumes. You might be able to keep going for a little while, but eventually something's going to give.
I like that analogy. Okay, so we talked about the sleep stages. We've talked about sleep deprivation. But what about the positive stuff? What happens when we do prioritize sleep?
That's what we'll explore next. We're going to discover how a good night's sleep can enhance your memory, boost creativity, and even help regulate your emotions.
Oh, I'm excited to hear about this. Stay tuned, everyone. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about adenosine building up in our brains, like a sleepiness counter.
Right.
So how does getting enough sleep actually reset that counter?
Yeah.
And what happens when we do get enough sleep?
You know, it's really like hitting the reset button on your entire system. When you sleep, your brain gets to work, clearing out that adenosine buildup, allowing you to wake up feeling refreshed and alert. But it's so much more than just feeling rested. Sleep is essential for a whole range of cognitive functions, including memory consolidation, creativity, and even emotional processing.
Okay, let's dive into that a little bit. I'm really interested in the link between sleep and memory. Walker describes deep sleep as like hitting save on your memories. But can you explain that process a little more? What's happening at like a neurological level?
Absolutely. So during deep sleep, there's this really fascinating interplay that happens between two key brain regions, the hippocampus and the neocortex.
Yeah.
So the hippocampus you can think of as your brain's short-term memory storage. And it basically replays the day's events, almost like reviewing a highlight reel.
Okay.
The neocortex, which is responsible for long-term storage. And complex thinking kind of listens in and absorbs those memories, integrating them into existing knowledge networks.
So it's almost like this carefully choreographed dance
It is, yeah.
between different parts of our brain
Yeah.
to really solidify those memories.
Exactly. And it's not just about storing the memories, it's about making connections between them, which is crucial for things like learning, problem solving, and even creativity. You know, studies have shown that a good night's sleep can actually enhance creative thinking and insight.
Oh, wow. So if you're feeling stuck on a problem, maybe the best thing you can do is sleep on it.
Yeah, sometimes that's the best thing to do.
That's a good takeaway.
Let your brain do the work behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's shift gears a bit and talk about the emotional benefits of sleep.
Okay.
We touched on this earlier with the idea of REM sleep, acting as overnight therapy. Can you elaborate a little bit on how sleep affects our emotional processing?
Yeah, I'm really curious about that. Like, does a good night's sleep actually help us regulate our emotions?
Oh. Absolutely. So during REM sleep, the amygdala, which is the part of our brain that processes emotions, becomes incredibly active. It's like our brains are replaying those emotional experiences, but in a safe space, stripping away the intensity and helping us process them more objectively.
So instead of waking up and feeling overwhelmed by all of yesterday's stressors, we're waking up with a fresh perspective.
Exactly. And on the flip side, when we're sleep deprived, that amygdala becomes overactive, making us much more reactive and prone to negative emotions. It's like our emotional thermostat is out of whack.
So we literally have less control over our emotions when we're tired.
We do.
That makes sense. I've definitely noticed that myself. I'm a lot more irritable when I haven't slept well.
Absolutely, and you're not alone. Sleep deprivation affects our emotional regulation in a very real way. You know, this is why those like sleep when the baby sleeps mantras for new parents are so important.
Yeah.
It's not just about getting rest. It's about maintaining emotional stability during a time of immense change.
That's such a good point. It's not just mental and emotional benefits, though, right?
Right.
Sleep is obviously crucial for our physical health as well.
Oh, you bet. Sleep is essential for cellular repair, muscle recovery, and hormone regulation. During deep sleep, our bodies release growth hormone, which is crucial for tissue growth and repair. This is especially important for athletes or anyone who engages in physical activity.
So a good night's sleep is like a spa treatment
You could say that.
for your muscles
Yeah.
and your body.
And sleep also plays a crucial role in regulating hormones involved in appetite and metabolism.
Okay, I've heard that lack of sleep can mess with our hormones.
Yeah.
making us more likely to overeat or gain weight. Is there any truth to that?
Absolutely. When you are sleep deprived, your body produces more ghrelin, which is the hormone that signals hunger, and less leptin, the hormone that signals fullness. This can lead to increased cravings for sugary and fatty foods, making it harder to maintain a healthy weight.
So getting enough sleep can actually help us regulate our
It
appetite.
can, and make healthier choices. Absolutely. It's not just about willpower. It's about giving your body the resources it needs to function optimally. And that includes adequate sleep.
This is all incredibly fascinating. But let's be real, in our modern world, there's so many things preventing us from getting a good night's rest. Walker talks a lot about the impact of technology on our sleep.
He does. Technology has revolutionized our lives in many ways, but it's also created new challenges when it comes to sleep. That blue light emitted from our phones, tablets, and computers can interfere with melatonin production, making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed if I'm on my phone right before bed, I have a harder time falling asleep.
Exactly, and it's not just the blue light, it's that constant stimulation from social media, emails, news notifications. It keeps our minds racing, making it really difficult to unwind and prepare for sleep.
It's like our brains are always on high alert.
Yeah, they are.
Even when we're trying to relax, it's exhausting.
And that state of hyperarousal can disrupt our sleep patterns and prevent us from getting that deep sleep that we need.
So what can we do about it? Do we have to completely disconnect from technology?
That's a great question, and it's something we're going to explore in the next segment. We're going to have some practical tips and tricks for improving sleep quality, even in our tech-saturated world.
I'm excited to hear about them. Welcome back to The Deep Dive. We've talked about the science of sleep and what happens when you don't get enough. Now let's get practical.
Okay.
What can we actually do to improve our sleep quality?
Well, the good news is there are a lot of things you can try. It's really about creating a toolbox of strategies and figuring out what works best for you.
Okay, so let's build that toolbox. Where do we start?
One of the most important things is establishing a consistent sleep routine.
Okay.
Go to bed and wake up at the same time each day, even on weekends, to help regulate your natural sleep-wake cycle.
So it's all about training your body's internal clock.
Exactly. Consistency is key. And don't forget about your sleep environment. Make sure your bedroom is cool, dark, and quiet. Invest in a comfortable mattress and pillows. And consider things like blackout curtains or a white noise machine to minimize distractions.
So really create that sanctuary for sleep.
Precise.
That place where your mind and body can truly relax.
And remember those screens we talked about? Limiting screen time in the hour or two before bed is crucial. That blue light can really mess with your melatonin production.
Yeah, so put down the phone, step away from the laptop,
Exactly.
and give your brain a break from the digital world.
Engage in relaxing activities instead, like reading, taking a warm bath, or maybe some gentle stretching. Just signal to your body that it's time to wind down.
So we've got the sleep routine, we've got the sleep environment, we've got the screen time sorted. What else?
Well, think about your daytime habits as well. Getting regular exercise can actually improve sleep quality.
Okay.
But try to avoid intense workouts close to bedtime. And pay attention to your caffeine and alcohol intake.
Yeah, no late night cappuccinos.
Exactly.
No nightcaps if you want to sleep soundly.
Both caffeine and alcohol can interfere with your sleep cycles, even if you don't realize it.
It's a lot to keep in mind. It seems like getting a good night's sleep is a very holistic thing.
It is.
Thinking about our environment, our daily habits.
It really is, but don't feel overwhelmed. Start by implementing 1 or 2 changes at a time and see what works best for you.
Small steps can make a big difference, right?
Exactly.
This has been so fascinating. I feel like I've learned so much about sleep, the dangers of not getting enough,
Yeah.
and the benefits of actually making it a priority. It's so much more than just recharging our batteries.
It is.
It's about unlocking our full potential, both mentally and physically.
Well said. And it's never too late to start prioritizing sleep. Even small changes can make a big difference in your overall health and well-being.
So, to our listeners out there, explore the world of sleep, experiment with different strategies, and embrace the power of a good night's rest.
Sweet dreams, everyone.
Until next time, sleep well.